Metroid Fusion has been added into the Nintendo Switch Online expansion, and this is definitely a game that when I saw showcased during the last Nintendo Direct as a future release of the new Game Boy Advance titles, I was really excited for. And one of the main reasons that I decided to go ahead and bite the bullet and subscribe to the expansion pass, just because, I thought it would go ahead and help out Nintendo as a company and help, expand their business with my subscription. So today, let's go over my thoughts on one of the best games for the Game Boy Advance, if not the best game for the system, and why I think that you should absolutely give this game a playthrough. The game begins with a brief backstory of how Samus has been attacked and infected by a parasitic organism known as X, a parasite that rapidly kills and copies the DNA of the infected host. This parasite would have been the end for Samus without the transfusion of an antibody into her system made from the remnants of a Metroid. She is subsequently cured of the parasitic virus, but still retains internal and external damage from her infection, as well as resulting to an immunity to the virus, leading her, of course, to be chosen by her superiors to investigate the BSL research station, where there appears to have been an incident and a mass outbreak of Parasite X that has led to radio silence. Now, the Metroid series has long been renowned as the standard for open-ended exploration in a 2D space, allowing you to explore and find new paths that may or may not be the obvious choice in order to progress through the game. This aspect being most notable in Super Metroid, leading some people to straight up mind-numbing confusion and the occasional rage-out sessions about not knowing where to go at some points, with other players loving the cryptic hints and false dead ends, as it encourages every bit of the map to be explored by the player. Metroid Fusion, however, takes a slightly different approach. While still encouraging exploration, Fusion offers a much more linear approach than the previous titles, by having navigation rooms generously sprinkled throughout the map like little beacons of hope, that when entered will tell you what route to take and exactly where you should be focusing your attention. This is an aspect that I personally rather not be included in the game, being that I much prefer to progress organically through exploration alone. However, this more linear style does work well with this particular storyline, and I don't feel that it takes away too much from the overall enjoyment. And this is done so through the introduction of your AI overlord, also known as Adam. And yes, just like on the show, Adam ruins everything. This Adam is here to simply guide you in your journey through life and to completely upend and destroy everything that you hold sacred. The graphics are done in a gorgeous 16-bit design with colorful textures and fantastic sprite animations. Truly one of the best looking games for the Game Boy Advance, and taking full advantage of the system's impressive hardware capabilities. But don't let the bright and vibrant colors of this game's characters and environments fool you, because the heart of this game is truly straight up sci-fi horror. Whether it be Adam hinting at disturbing events occurring throughout the map, the fact that the X-Parasite is reanimating the corpses of the former research staff of the space station like some intergalactic version of the T-Virus, or the fact that you are being stalked by a version of yourself that is hell-bent on destroying you and everything in its path, and the eerie way that you will hear the thing's footsteps slowly clunking around like the Nemesis, or like Jason Voorhees, when he literally is in space, killing space teens on a space station. Seriously, that movie was actually made, and it was greenlit by supposedly professional movie producers over in Hollywood. However, setting Jason aside, this game definitely takes inspiration from the sci-fi horror movies that inspired the Metroid series as a whole, such as the Alien franchise. The gameplay is fast and fluid, exactly what you would expect from the vast majority of first-party Nintendo action platformers, with the series standard mechanics such as wall jumps and obtaining power-ups that allow you to enter and traverse previously inaccessible regions of the map. However, this game also introduces some first-time mechanics for the series, such as the ability to grab onto ledges and climbing ladders, and then seamlessly transition into a morph ball to get into some tight spaces. Or the morph ball jump power-up, where instead of in previous titles, when you literally had to unleash a well-calculated series of bombs to make yourself jump, while in the morph ball to get to some out-of-reach areas, you can simply press a button and just jump. These are seemingly such small improvements, but they really do make the gameplay so much more smooth and noticeably more modern. These mechanics will also carry over to future titles, such as this game's sequel and a masterpiece in its own right, Metroid Dread. The gameplay just flows along as you blast and bomb your way through this world, with pretty much every jump, attack, and evade being spot on, with very little, if any, hiccups. And if the incredible gameplay isn't enough for you, this game's soundtrack is also a standout, continuing the series standard of having some very unique and memorable choices of music of the equally unique environments that you encounter and explore. The music does a great job of providing the perfect amount of ambience while setting the tone for the eerie storyline unfolding throughout. While this game is more of a linear design and a little shorter in runtime than other games in the series, Fusion just packs so much enjoyment in such a small package. And coming off the heels of Super Metroid being one of the best games ever made, this game had a lot to live up to, and I feel that absolutely nailed it. Metroid Fusion introduced aspects that would be seen in future 2D Metroid games, as well as the Prime series. And in fact, this game coming out in 2002 was released in conjunction with the original Metroid Prime, being released for the Nintendo GameCube. And even though Prime was and still is a masterpiece, which by the way, if you haven't played Metroid Prime yet, definitely check out my review for the remastered version and then play it as soon as possible. This little 2D side-scrolling Metroid adventure released on a handheld console and definitely held its own weight. Metroid Fusion is one of the best games released for the Game Boy Advance, and I am so excited that Nintendo has finally brought it over to the Nintendo Switch. And if the only Metroid game that you've played so far has been this game's sequel, Metroid Dread, I highly recommend that you try Fusion out, which of course isn't as pretty and advanced in terms of graphics and gameplay as Dread. I mean, that game is a powerhouse and one of the best looking and performing games on the Switch. But without a doubt, Fusion definitely holds up. And with Metroid, Metroid Return of Samus, Super Metroid, and now Metroid Fusion being available for the NSO and expansion, and with the recent Metroid Prime remaster, it is just so great to see that Samus and their Metroid series as a whole is finally getting the recognition that it deserves, and stands right up there with the other first-party Nintendo titles such as Mario and Zelda. And with all these games being available on a modern platform, hopefully this will lead to more people experiencing this great series. But what do you guys think? Are you a long-term Metroid Fusion fan and you're just happy to see it brought over to the Switch? Or is this a title that you've never experienced before, but you're now looking into playing it? Let me know in the comments below. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day, and I'll see you on the next video.